Hey there, friend, and welcome back to the Anchored with Purpose podcast. Today, we are diving into something that I think a lot of us wrestle with as summer approaches: structure versus spontaneity. How do you create a summer rhythm that doesn't feel too rigid, but also doesn't feel like chaos? How do you balance the need for routines with that deep desire for rest, freedom, and fun? Today, I want to help you create a summer plan that actually works for you and your family. One that gives you room to breathe and helps you stay anchored with peace and purpose. So, whether you're a natural planner or more of a let's see what happens kind of mom, there's something in this episode for you. Let's jump in. Let's be honest, summer can feel both dreamy and daunting. This beautiful freedom that comes with no school, no morning rush, maybe even some vacation. But then there's also kids are home all day, constant snack requests. The dishes are piling up in the sink because everybody is eating every single meal at home. And if you're working from home or running a business, it can sometimes feel impossible to juggle. And then there's the guilt, that mom guilt that we feel, right? If you do create structure, you might feel like you're robbing your kids of a carefree childhood. But if you don't have structure, you end up snapping at everyone by 2 p.m. But no, because no one's done anything but watch screens and play video games and eat goldfish on the couch. Can you relate? I've been at both ends of that pendulum. One summer I had, well, actually multiple summers, I had my kids in camp every day, 8 to 4 and Monday through Friday. And then for a couple summers after that, I said, forget it. We're just going to go with the flow. And truthfully, they were both kind of hard. Here's what I learned and what I want to offer you today. Your summer doesn't need to be completely structured or completely spontaneous. It can be both. It can be rhythm over rigidity, margin with intention. Because when we stop trying to live up to someone else's idea of the Pinterest perfect summer and instead ask, what does my family need this season? What do I need as a mom, a woman, a wife, a believer? Then we can build a summer with a rhythm that fits real life. So let's talk about building a rhythm that works for you. We know that in different seasons, we might need different things. So one of the beautiful things about summer, and one way you can provide structure for your kids over the summer, is different camps. And okay, I know the hustle of, okay, we have to hurry up and get all of these kids signed up for camp by May 1st, or they're all going to be booked. I know people who like to book an entire summer worth of camps so that their kid is scheduled every single minute of every day. I know people who they don't schedule anything. And I'd like to just share with you what has worked for us in the past. And that is just selecting 1 or 2 camps per summer that the kids are interested in. So first I'll share when my kids were little, we had signed them each up for like a 1-week camp over the summer. When we've got this wonderful, amazing rec camp in the city park that's right behind our house. And that starts at 6 years old and only goes up until you're 11 years old or 12 years old, maybe. I think 12. The thing is, the first year we were eligible for that, Andrew was 6, but Sean was 4. And so I couldn't see myself sending Andrew to camp all day, every single day. And then Sean would still be here with no one to hang out with or play with but me. And I'm kind of boring compared to your older brother, right? So we didn't sign him up for that. What we had done instead was we had picked like a different camp for each kid that was usually a half day and that fit something they wanted to do. So we had done like a baseball camp. We had done like sports camp, just like some other, just a week long, nothing crazy, no big commitment. And then also we paired that with a VBS. Friend, listen, I'll be honest, there were summers when my kids went to 3 different churches for different VBSs. And let me tell you, they were not Catholic. They went to a Lutheran camp, a Presbyterian camp, a Methodist camp, and guess what? It didn't matter. They were learning about Jesus. They were having a great time. It was free childcare when they're really little. You know what I'm talking about for that free childcare. No shame in sending them to 3 different VBSs. It was just a fun thing for them. They loved it. By the time they got to the second camp, they already knew all of the words. Same thing for the third camp. These volunteers were like, whoa, how do these kids already know all of these songs? This is their third camp. It's cool. So we try, and this is what we still try and do after we had done the whole rec camp thing, which I'll share about that in a second. But we have found that there's more margin there when you give them a week or two of a camp rather than all summer long. So now I'll share with you about what happened when we had sent our kids to rec camp. This rec camp was the biggest blessing. It was so incredibly affordable. It was just wonderful. It was right behind our house. It was so close. We could walk there, ride bikes there. The kids were outside all day, every day, playing. They weren't on screens, which that is a miracle for my kids to not be on screens. They're gamer kids. So this was awesome. It was great for me and a huge blessing because at this point I was working in my parish and I had to be at the office all day, every day. So it was really helpful that they had a safe place to go. They were too little to stay home by themselves yet. So it worked out great. It was wonderful structure. Now, I'll share with you that we did that for a few summers. It was great. There would be days sometimes when I would get off work. If I would get off work at like 2:30, I would go pick them up early so we could go do something together or swim or just let them be in the air conditioning because sometimes it was really hot. But when I had my first summer working at home after I stopped working for the parish, I found that the kids weren't loving camp as much because they knew mom was home and they wanted to be able to swim in the pool or do other things other than just stay at camp. And where it was a little tricky for me too, it was, camp didn't start until after my workday started. So getting them there and then getting them back, it was not like it was far. I already told you it's within walking distance. Don't get me wrong. But transitions aren't something that I handle very well. The drop off pickup stuff, that just, I don't know, it throws me for whatever reason. So, not having to physically leave my house and go somewhere every single morning, that was a nice change. So, it all really changed last summer. Andrew had aged out of the camp, he couldn't go. And I had signed Sean up. And let me tell you, you have to sign this up. The city is so funny about this. If it only lets you know a couple days beforehand, you have to print the form, have it all mailed in. So you have to plan your post office trip and have your application in with the money on the day that it's due. If you send it in one day later, you're too late. You're not going to get into camp. It's crazy because everybody loves this camp. It's so good. So I had gotten Sean into this camp and this was when I had first purchased that big calendar I had shared with you about in a few episodes ago. It's this big, gigantic wall calendar that is all 12 months and that it now hangs in my butler's pantry. But when I first got it, I spread the whole calendar out on my dining room table and I just started writing in all of our summer plans, including every trip we were taking. Sports camp that they had, VBS, all of that, which now they only go to one, and it's the one our Catholic Church finally has one, which is so exciting. So after writing all of these in, I looked and I realized Sean would only be going to camp for 12 days in the whole summer. It would be crazy if I actually sent him. So I emailed the camp and let them know, hey, give this spot to another kid. We're not going to be there because I figured for those 12 days, and I did give him the choice. I said, would you like to still go for those 12 days? Or would you rather just have a more low-key time for those 12 days and just be able to relax and enjoy summer? And he opted to stay home instead of going to camp. And there is just so much freedom in that too. Now I understand. Not every mom gets to work from home. Not every mom gets to stay home. I understand that that is a huge blessing. And like I said, when I was working outside of the home, that all day camp was fantastic for my kids. But if you do have that flexibility and freedom where you stay home or you get to work from home, you can find some balance. Now, what's nice is my kids are a little bit older. They can handle getting their own breakfast, their own lunch, their own snacks. I still have to check in and make sure that they're okay. But what I love doing is giving them like some daily goals. And what I mean by that, I take a look at my calendar and I see, okay, when are my meetings today? What work do I have where I could take that outside? So they could actually have some pool time and I can still be working and keep an eye on them. So I let them know, hey, if you guys get your chores done and get everything done by 1 o'clock, we can be outside for the rest of the day. And that's a nice way to try and fight some of that screen time as well. Letting them know, all right, you got to get all of your stuff done before screen time. And then at 1 o'clock, screen time ends and we go out. Now, I'm going to be honest. Is that easy? No. Oh my gosh. My kids love their screen time. I shared with you, they're gamer kids. They want to be on screens all day, every day. So I have to make it a big deal that we're going outside. And sometimes that involves bribery of, hey, we'll make snow cones if we go outside. Or, hey, you can each have a friend over because I can handle keeping an eye on 2 extra kids and still get some work done. But it makes a big difference rather than having to leave, have them gone all day. I love that I still feel like they still have that summer. They can sleep in, they don't have to get up by a certain time, they can relax a little bit, they can get their chores done and anything else they need to do. And then they can have some outside time, which I think is so important. Now, I know that we do have that whole thing of, they are eating snacks pretty much all day, every day. Andrew, over the summer, his favorite, if I've never told you this before, maybe I did, his favorite thing is Elio's pizza. He eats it every single day for lunch. He packs it in his, packs it and takes it to school every day for lunch. But at home over the summer, he will want to have his lunch at 10 a.m. So we had to put a stop to that because he was going through an entire box of pizza every day when he started doing that, because then he was hungry later on. So the snack schedule is still something I'm working on. When we have pool days, we've got like a space outside on the sun porch that I call my outdoor kitchen, which is just like a mini fridge, a snow cone maker, a dry sink, and like our old kitchen island that I have out there. And I bring all of the snacks out there. So then they're eating the snacks that are there, and I mix in healthy snacks with things like goldfish and chips and things like that. So that way there is a variety. But that also stops them, trying to make things like pizza all day, every day. Here's something though that I want to make sure that you do is schedule and build in some time for you in your summer day, because we still remember what it felt like to be a kid and have those summers off. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm a little resentful where I'm just like, I look at my kids relaxing and I'm like, shoot, I wish I was off for the whole summer. But you can build in some time for you. So whether it's a morning walk, you're building out your quiet time with Jesus. I love to take my cup of coffee with God and have it on the front porch over the summer. It just feels special. It feels different. It's warm out. It makes me feel like it's an indulgence and so nice. You can plan some time to hang out with your friends, but you've got to put it on the calendar. So that way you're having some time to refresh yourself, pour into yourself, and to just have some fun. You can't pour out joy and peace all summer if your own soul is running on empty. And here's the real key: letting go of those summer expectations. Let go of that pressure that you have to make every single day magical. I'm going to tell you right now, My mom growing up was like a hero over the summer. I don't know how she did it. We had in our neighborhood this like the summer, they called it like summer play group, where each mom took a turn hosting like this amazing fun summer activity. My mom's was always tie dye. She had all of these kids over and we all tie dyed in the driveway. Some of them were like, we did a bike parade and we painted things. Like there was just something cool like every single week. But I want you to let go of those summer expectations. Can you do those things? Yes, definitely. And if you can, go for it. But I want you to remember this: some days will be messy. Some days the kids will argue all day long. Some days you're going to toss them some chicken nuggets and call it dinner. And you know what? That's okay. You're showing up. You're loving your family. You're doing the best you can, and God sees that. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Give yourself freedom to change the plan. Give yourself space just to be with your family, with the Lord, and with yourself. If you can't have a Pinterest perfect summer, that's okay. Let go of that expectation. It doesn't have to be perfect. What are some things you can do that don't take up a lot of time and effort? I'll share with you one of our summer traditions with our group. We live really close to Lake George in upstate New York, and we have this trolley that costs $1 to ride from Glens Falls to Lake George. And that's one of the things that we do. We didn't do it last summer, but we usually do this one time a summer. And it's when we can find like a day that works for everyone. It's seriously like the most inexpensive day trip, and the kids think it's a blast, where we ride the trolley to the lake. We sit on the lake for a little bit. We get ice cream and we come back. And it's so low key, and it literally cost us $1 and what it cost us for ice cream. So you don't have to do big, expensive, crazy things either. Find those summer traditions that you like and make time for those. But don't like get crazy and don't get so hard on yourself when you don't get to do all of the things that you wanted to do. I know so many people talk about a summer bucket list. You can make a summer bucket list and maybe pick out a few of the things that are priorities on your summer bucket list. But don't get hard on yourself when you don't achieve every single thing on that summer bucket list. If you took time with your kids and had intentional time with your kids, if you had some quiet time for yourself and some intentional time with God over the summer, if you did something fun, because friend, we don't do this enough as women, you need to take time for fun for yourself. You're going to have a great summer. So as you head into summer, take some time to ask yourself, what do I want this season to feel like? What do my kids need? What do I need? And then create a rhythm that holds space for structure and spontaneity. Let it be a summer full of connection over perfection and presence over pressure. You don't need to do it all to create a meaningful summer. Just be present, be intentional, and let God fill in the rest. Friend, I'm rooting for you, and I'm praying that you have an incredible summer. And just remember, stay anchored with purpose.